And we are recording. Okay, so we have 16 in the Zoom room, and then how many additional? We have a couple of people who are there with their spouses.
Yeah,
So we have 2 additional.
yes, Rita reports that, she has her spouse with her. Let's see. Yep, 2 here for Judy Adolphson,
Okay.
2 for Rita Gilden. Yeah, Gary, and 3 at Kareen's,
Okay. So that would be
Carla and Todd.
20 in the Zoom room, and we have to not count us at live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, I think I'm counting you twice, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 live for a total of, if my math is correct, 41. Thank you. Glad I did some, yes, thank you, Barb. Thank you, Alex. All the people I strong armed to come. Thank you. All right, the rules and agenda for today's meeting were shared in the call. Is there a motion on the floor to adopt the annual meeting rules?
I move for the adoption of meeting rules.
Okay. Second, thank you. And are there any questions or discussion? I do actually want to take a moment to read the meeting rules in case anyone didn't get to see them. They're not long. First rule, when the chair recognizes a member, the speaker will give his or her name unless the chair already has identified the speaker by name. Also, if someone wants to speak from the floor, we need to use this mic. That's both in the Zoom room. Actually, the Zoom room, we're going to ask you to do it in chat, if you would please, and then we will read it on the mic, what you've said. But if you speak on the floor, you need to come to the mic to speak so that the Zoom room can hear you, please. Each speaker, when recognized, will be limited to 3 minutes of comments. Any member wishing to speak may do so before anyone may speak a second time on the same subject, unless there is a point of clarification. Motions relating to program items shall be made verbally and in writing. Anyone proposing a non-recommended item, first of all, you had to, yeah, this one doesn't apply because nobody did. But anyone proposing a non-recommended item for study must submit to the chair in writing a plan for implementing the study and specify the member who is committed to chairing the study committee. Number 6, items related to the program shall be discussed in the same order in which they were presented to the members of the meeting. And number 7, with an oddly tiny 7 on my sheet, directions to the board from members shall be given verbally, and if complex or lengthy, both verbally and in writing to the secretary, which is of course Cindy Cart. Okay, so is there any discussion or any questions about the rules of the meeting? Okay, there being none, everyone who votes to approve.
We need to make a motion.
We already did.
Oh, the agenda is combined.
No, I'll do the agenda next. So
Oh,
rules
sorry,
first,
sorry.
agenda next, that's okay. And I know we're doing it a little bit differently than last year because I have learned more since last year. So by the time we get to next year's meeting, I might have all the rules right, but probably not. So we actually make the motion, second it, then there's discussion, clarifying questions, and then we, if there are amendments, then we restate what we're voting on, and then we vote. And we kind of did that a little bit backwards last year. Okay, so there being no further discussion or questions, everybody in favor of adopting the rules, please raise your hand. Okay, anyone opposed, please raise your hand. Okay, that motion passes. We will adopt those rules. Thank you. All right, and let me go back to the agenda. And so I will similarly call for a motion regarding the agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Who seconded? Elizabeth Dar seconded? Okay. Thank you. All right, Cindy Cart moved. Are there any questions, amendments, discussion about the agenda? Okay. There being none, everyone in favor of adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. Okay, those opposed? Please raise your hand. We'll give everybody a moment to put their hands down after they supported that. Okay, the motion passes and we are adopting that agenda. Thank you. Okay, and then I need to let you know about who our parliamentarian is. Word apparently I can not say as well as not spell. So our parliamentarian is Evelyn Maddox. Thank you so much, Evelyn, for serving as our parliamentarian. And I also want to let you know that the minutes for last year's annual meeting were approved by committee and were filed. And this year's minutes will be approved by the executive committee within 60 days or so, and will be filed. Okay. The official recorder of this meeting is Cindy Cart, who is the secretary. All right, we will next consider the local program as recommended to you by the Board of Directors.
Pause for 1 moment.
Sure.
There is a report that the sound might be not working well.
Uh-oh.
Okay, never mind. Perhaps it's only not working well for one person on Zoom.
Okay, I will be more diligent too about holding the mic to my face.
Thank you.
Okay, we will next consider the local program as recommended to you by the Board of Directors. There being no non-recommended items and that items from the floor are not allowed, we will review and discuss the program as presented by the board. Is there a motion on the floor? Cheryl?
I move to approve the board's recommended programs.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, Cheryl Eufinger moved that we approve the board recommended program and Elizabeth Dar seconded. So now we get to talk about it a little bit. And I will start by talking about last year, what we did last year at this meeting and before. So in January of 2023, we began our program planning process. We voted to approve, nope, that was 2022 that we voted to approve the study. So in January 2023, we held a series of small meetings. We had a big meeting and then we held a series of small meetings where we brainstormed, and we made our plan for this year's election. So we've been planning for this year's election. Actually, we've been done planning for a little while. So we started planning for this year's election in January of 2023. In February and March of 2023, we held small meetings where everybody who wanted to participate in that planning got to participate in a slightly smaller context. And then we pulled all of the information that we gathered from those smaller meetings together. The board reviewed them, made some changes, and then crafted a board recommended program for the following 18 months. So this year, we did not do such a serious program planning process because we knew that we needed to focus on implementing the initiatives and the planning that we had started. And I'm going to take 1 second because I am so highly distractible to remind everybody, let's take just a sec to silence our phones because I will absolutely be, including mine, I will absolutely be wander off like I've seen a squirrel. Thank you. So this is actually the program plan from last year's program planning process. Because it was an 18-month program with one change. In January, actually, it would have been May of last year. In May of last year, when we voted the program in, one of the priorities that the members expressed they wanted to have included in the program was to have an exploratory committee formed that would look at youth participation in voting. We tried very hard to recruit someone who would lead that committee. And we had several people who were interested. We had several meetings. We had a couple of possibilities, but unfortunately, we didn't have anyone who took on that effort. So we are not this is not good timing for us to start an effort like that. We do have a new member who might be interested. There are a few other people on the voter ed committee who might be interested. And so we hope that that is something we can revisit in January of 2025. But it is something that the board eliminated from the recommended program. So that, other than that, and the changes to the bylaws are of course different, but other than that, this part of the program remains the same. So any questions or discussion? Yep. I'm so happy that this is wireless, so we can meet halfway.
Cheryl Barnes, and I just wanted to let you know that Darvius Yearwood, the young man who was interested in getting voting changed down to 16 years old, is now working with City Council Representative Melissa Yearwood on her youth advocacy committee. So there is work in that regard. So the fact that we're not doing it doesn't mean that that work is not getting done in the area.
Thank you for letting us know. And also that we don't have to be the lead in everything. And so we encourage our members to get involved with that effort if that's something that they're interested in.
Melissa Robinson, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Not Melissa.
Oh, there's just a slight correction that it's a council person?
Yes.
That is councilperson Melissa Robinson. And it's DJ Yearwood is the young man who's working with Councilwoman Melissa Robinson. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. We'll go on to, oops. We need to talk about the bylaws because those are, oh no, that's a separate vote. Yeah, that's it for program. Yeah, that's it for program because normally we would vote in new positions. But we did that 2 months ago, so we have, we had a lot of extra work a couple of months ago.
Did we actually vote on the recommended program?
No, I backed up because I realized that was it. Yeah, thank you. So we have a motion on the table to accept the recommended program, the program as recommended by the board. It's been seconded and no amendments, and there being no more discussion, we will vote to approve the program recommended by the board. So everyone in favor? Please raise your hand. Okay, and give everybody just a moment to lower your hands, and then those opposed, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Thank you. This document, our program really does guide the work that we do.
Does Stacy mean to have her hand?
She had
raised
it,
as
yeah,
opposed?
No, I don't think she does. Thank
So
you.
motion carried.
The motion is carried. Thank you. The motion is carried. Thank you very much. That the program really does guide how we craft the budget, how we allocate our time and our resources, our volunteer resources. So thank you. Okay, next, I'm going to go back to my speech. We will now take a look at the proposed changes to the bylaws. Is there a motion from the floor? Who's got the bylaws? Nature?
I move to accept the proposed bylaws.
Anitra moves to accept the proposed bylaws as recommended by the board. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Elizabeth Dar seconds that. All right, and so now we will take a moment to discuss. I do want to let you know that this has to, all the other votes that we've taken so far had to carry by majority, but this one has to carry by 2/3. Which I don't think will be.
And just a quick thing, could Janelle, could you just make it speaker view because we cannot read what's written on the right hand side?
Okay,
Yep, the request from the audience was just to alter the display here.
make it speak like.
Oh, it's me, it's me.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Okay, so the first change that we made, that we propose, is to strike out LWVMO and LWVUS in these two areas. The reason that we struck that is because the League of Women Voters US is changing the way that they collect dues and the way that they manage membership. And so this is no longer relevant. And so LWVUS has asked us to make this change so that our bylaws reflect what's happening at the LWV US level. We had a program about this in March. Rita's gonna confirm in the chat that I have the right month. And it's on YouTube, and so we've got the link in the chat for that. She may talk about it a little bit later too.
Yep, that is the meeting in the chat, the people in the chat, that is the one that says March meeting. Let me know if you need me to reshare the link.
So the link has been shared in the chat. For those of you here, you can, when you get home, you can look up, it's the March meeting in the YouTube, on the YouTube channel. So if you want to find out more about that change. So any questions or discussion about this portion? Okay. Okay. So move ahead. Uh-oh, there we go. Okay, the second change that we recommend is that we struck a first or second vice president. And then we also struck the vice president or first and second vice president and the treasurer shall be elected in even numbered years. And we replaced it with, if there are 2 or more vice presidents, then 1 will be voted in an odd numbered year and 1 in an even numbered year. If there are more than 2 vice presidents voting in alternating years, will be decided by the nominating committee. The vice president or a vice president and the treasurer shall be elected in the even numbered years. That was easy, right? So basically it just means actually we have 5 officers, and it just means only half of them are gonna get elected in any one year so that we have continuity. And it wasn't quite clear before. So that's the purpose of this change.
And,
Evelyn?
do you want to bring me the microphone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Of course I do.
There in the,
Can you say your name?
Evelyn Maddox. And on the third line from the bottom, beginning the sentence, if there are more than 2 vice presidents voting in alternating years, do you mean elected in alternating years? And I'm
No.
not sure what I don't understand the sentence.
We might could have wordsmithed it a little better. We might could have wordsmithed it a little better. But we can actually amend it here so that it reads better.
I think it's voted in.
Actually, if you just put a comma after presidents.
Yeah.
That would help a lot.
Oops. Let me go backwards. All right, I'm gonna have to actually shrink this a little bit to make a change. If there are 2 or more vice presidents, comma.
And does that mean nominated if there are more than 2? No. Vice presidents get nominated.
I think in the office, if there are 2 or
Okay.
more vice presidents, then one will be nominated in an odd number year and one will be, and one an even numbered year.
Voted in or nominated?
Yeah, I said nominated, but so it would be elected. I think if we change voted in to elected, that would fix that.
Elected in.
Yeah, I maybe took too much off.
Now, shall we have a motion to amend, Madam President?
Well, let's make sure we're done.
Okay, all right.
If there are 2 or more vice presidents, then one will be elected in an odd numbered year and one in an even numbered year. Yeah.
You made it big again.
Yeah, I will, as soon as I'm done, as soon as I'm sure I'm done. If there are more than 2 vice presidents, voting in alternating years will be decided. So I think the election,
Elected and alternate.
And
so I think what this is saying is that if there are more than 2 vice presidents, then the nominating committee will determine what year, in which years they're elected.
another comma after president, vice president.
Okay,
So the nominating committee, I'm just gonna add confusion here, but the nominating committee just follows the bylaws. So we don't decide anything. Does that make sense? So, yes, so if there are more than 2 vice presidents elected
Well, and actually, if there are two or more vice presidents, takes care of it, because it says then one will be elected in an odd numbered year and one or more in an even numbered year. We said that, okay.
Now, do you?
Or, yep,
In the. Second to last sentence also has the word voting in it. Are you happy with the word voting?
well, I think we were gonna take that whole sentence out.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so it would read then, if there are two or more vice presidents. And is it than or then? It's than, isn't it, with an A?
No.
No, it is good?
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. I'm glad somebody taught higher level English than third grade. Then one will be elected in an odd numbered year and one or more in an even numbered year. And then that would be it. Then then we would jump to the vice president or vice presidents, and the treasurer shall be elected in the even numbered years.
Okay, do you want to strike that out on the screen?
I will. I will actually remove it because it's not struck from the official bylaws.
So
It's
may
being
I
amended right
answer
now.
What someone has said in the chat?
Please do.
Okay. Rachel has said in the chat, there are two or more vice presidents, then one or more will be voted in an odd numbered year and one or more in an even numbered year.
Yeah, I could go on with that. Yeah. Everybody here? Do I see head nods? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Rachel. So if there are two or more vice presidents, then one or more will be elected in an odd number year and one or more will be elected in an even number year. And then we just erase all of this. I have to confess, I absolutely love this part of the annual meeting where we all put our heads together. This is the hive mind really working. Okay, the vice president, and then I'm going to change or vice presidents, and then I think we're done. So I need to replace a vice president, take that A out and put an S in. Okay.
How about a motion to amend?
Okay, let me read it one more time and show it big, and let me show it big. Oh, I hit the wrong button, as I generally do. Okay. So, let me read the whole thing, and then we'll do an amendment. The officers of league shall be president or co-presidents, a vice president, and a secretary, and a treasurer. Oh, a vice president with the S. Right, I didn't pronounce that. They shall be voting members of the league and shall be elected for terms of 2 years by the general membership at the annual meeting, except for the treasurer, they take office immediately. The treasurer shall take office at the beginning of the fiscal year. The presidents and the secretary shall be elected in odd numbered years. If there are two or more vice presidents, then one or more will be elected in an odd numbered year and one or more in an even numbered year. The vice president or vice presidents. Okay, we'll take that space out later. I don't think that's a deal breaker. And the treasurer shall be elected in the even numbered years. We'll also add a period at the end of that sentence.
After where it says elected in an odd numbered year, comma. Before the word and.
I see that. Okay, so we have 3 punctuation things that we will fix when we put it on the record. Kelly?
In the first sentence, you have the officers of league. And then, the next sentence, they should be voting members of the league. The league seems to make more sense, so that first sentence, go back to the officers of the.
Okay, I agree, and I am going to now fix all of those things.
And I have a comment in the chat.
Okay, good.
Rita says in the chat, you do not need to include the vice president in the last sentence.
Oh, she's right, because we address when the vice presidents are elected in the sentence above.
Okay, and can I add something?
This does not allow for any officers to be appointed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Or is that?
I think that's a separate issue, but I have, because we have appointed officers.
Selection, qualification and terms.
So I think that's a
Okay,
And the board appoints officers if one
if one is
Stops.
absent or
Right.
something happens,
I
yeah.
didn't know if we needed that language.
Yeah, that has to do with election only.
Okay.
Election qualification and terms. The section is for election.
Okay, have I added everything?
I have one other thought.
Okay, let me, if it's really short, I'll repeat it or that's not where it was. Is it, okay, I'll repeat it.
In the first sentence, it says a vice president, and then you have added an S. And I'm going to suggest that we say one or more vice presidents.
Okay. Okay, and then I'm still missing one comma. Where was that gonna go?
Between year and payment.
All right, I see it. It is very tiny on my screen. Thank you for your patience. All right, I think we've addressed all of that. Okay, so I don't think we made any substantive changes there, so I don't think I'll read it again. All right, however, we need a new motion on the table. Cindy, were you the one who? Anitra, thank you.
I was the person who moved to accept the bylaws as amended.
Okay,
The
Anitra,
changes of bylaws as amended.
okay, so the new motion is to accept the bylaws as we have amended here today.
May I say something? Now, technically, because this is what we did yesterday. Last year, excuse me. It seems like yesterday. Yesterday we were here. Okay. The protocol is that we would now vote on the amendment. Somebody would say, I move to amend as stated. And then we would vote yes or no. And if we voted yes, then we would vote again on the whole thing. That's
Okay.
the protocol.
Okay,
In our case, we have wordsmithed this as a group. In my view, one vote would be sufficient.
All
If the president agrees.
Oh, yeah, that's my view too. Oh, and that's always my view. Oh, yeah.
there's a question in the audience and there's still a comment online.
Oh, okay, excellent. We have a question in the audience.
Well, couldn't she just rescind her, original order? Joyce Felnate, couldn't the original, motion be, pulled back and then a new one instead of two votes?
Yes, that would be acceptable to the parliamentarian. I don't know what the rules say. but- Let the secretary know the motion was rescinded.
Okay. All right, so Anitra, you okay with rescinding?
And redoing it.
And then from the chat?
Yes, Rita Golden has asked to unmute.
So I don't know if you want to just hold. your-
Okay, sure, we're hoping this works. Speak loudly.
Is it working?
Are you speaking?
Yes,
No, there we go.
please correct the last sentence and take the vice presidents and out of that. It's not necessary.
Oh, yep, she said that. and
Contradictory.
We didn't get to it.
Yeah,
So
so
this-
before we vote on it, if we could just take that out.
Oh, not that part, just the vice presidents, and then we go
Yeah.
to this.
Just say the treasurer shall be elected in even numbered years. That's all.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the original motion was rescinded. Anitra, would you like to put a new motion on the table?
Oh, yeah, and Madam President, could we say the motion was withdrawn rather than
I'm
rescinded?
sorry, the motion was withdrawn.
Yeah, thank you.
so much closer in here, right?
I move to accept the amended bylaws.
All right,
With the bylaws with the new amendments.
okay, there's a motion on the table to accept the the bylaws as amended. Elizabeth Dar seconds it, and is there any more discussion or any more questions? You have to say that. There being none, everyone in favor, please raise your hand. Oh, I made my people disappear. You have to.
Yeah, just give it a minute. Can somebody sing a little ditty or?
Oh, man, yeah, okay, yes, somebody name a musical. South Pacific?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry for the folks online, but because I have Anne's video pinned, if you could actually raise your little hand in the reactions button, that would assist me, because I can't see your pictures anymore unless someone else is keeping
Well,
track.
here, I can also put you.
Okay, so we have 11 affirmatives online.
Okay, so that motion, oh, oops, all those opposed, please raise your hand.
So just a second. They want to see you though.
But I.
It runs off because your sound is running off that, the video is off
Okay,
that.
gotcha.
Yeah, so if someone else is on
Here.
there, they could look at video.
Yeah, Dave,
Dave could, yeah.
can you look at the video? Can you pull everybody up on the screen so that we can more quickly count the votes? Okay, Zoom room, we're gonna go back to you raising your hands in person because we.
Sometimes shows are pretty much.
Yeah, they're sometimes leaving their hands up though, when they
Oh, I-
voted yes, and then we call for opposition votes and they don't, hands are still up. Okay, but I'm gonna. We passed though, that one passed, right? Okay, that one passed. All right, the motion passes, thank you.
I think it passed unanimously, didn't it? It does not.
Oh, you know what? Oh crap, we weren't done with the bylaws. I'm so sorry.
Well,
Okay, well, we passed that section, so we don't have to revisit that section. Okay, sorry, we got so carried away. Okay, we added an S to this one. So we'll have to redo your motion. Well, we'll just have to re-vote for it because the motion's still on the floor. Okay, and then in this one, we recommended, again, this has to do with what's happening at LWV US and the way that they collect dues from now on. So this brings us into compliance with the National League. And so it says shall be paid upon becoming a member and shall be renewable annually. The amount of dues shall be determined by LWV US. We don't get to set our dues anymore. They are mandating that. So that's the recommendation there. And that is it. Okay, any questions or discussion about those other two changes?
well, now we're just voting on this one now. correct?
Well, we goofed, I think, with the other vote, because I missed that there were two more pieces of the bylaws.
So Terry has asked that we put all motions in the chat. So people can respond in the chat, and Terry, I'm just not that fast to type unless somebody else, and I'm like not sitting totally in front of my computer so you can see Ann.
We're also not putting them on the board.
Yeah, so let us know
Sorry,
if you
is
can't
that
hear it though.
Yeah. Dave says he's not that fast at it either. I'm sorry, Terry, it's all verbal in the,
Now,
in the
for
live room too.
clarification, I think you started to read the proposed changes, then on section 1, article 4, we actually voted on it.
We
without
did vote
voting-
on that section.
Yeah, but not on the first section. I just.
Well, I thought we were voting for all of it,
Oh,
I
and we
didn't-
now can.
and we now can.
All right.
So, all right, so, yes, Sandy,
Language is not specific as to article.
it was not, yeah, but we hadn't seen this yet, so we still, it'll take us just another, so Sandy said the language wasn't specific as to which articles. Well, that's why the proposal will still, so the motion remains on the table, and I'm very, very sorry, that I forgot that there were these other two. So we'll have to revote, we'll just take a moment to do that. So, there being no more discussion, we will have a second vote on amending the bylaws, so everyone in favor, please raise your hand.
Now, let's be clear, we're voting on all proposed changes to the bylaws.
We are voting on all of the board recommended proposed changes to the bylaws,
As
including the amended, as amended by the members today. Yeah, I know, it's a pain, but I love it, and it really makes a difference. As someone who's gone back and looked up some stuff, has done some research, it really makes a difference to have it all spelled out. So, thank you. Okay,
Okay,
so
wait a minute. Hands are
Yeah,
still going.
2/3 vote.
we'll give everybody
You don't have to hold your hands up here, but I'm just.
yeah, so we're gonna give everybody in the Zoom room now a chance to
Okay.
lower their hands. And those opposed, please raise your hands.
And people are lowering hands, so it will take a second.
No opposed on online.
Okay, so that motion passes. Thank you.
Yeah, I see Christine Barbie had her hand up online. I don't know if it's an
We may
opposed
have
or a.
one
or a-
opposition.
Well, just a dysfunctional person, no problem there, keep going.
Okay,
Okay.
she said, nope, she goofed.
No, I.
Okay, phew, okay, thank you. So now we get to go to the really easy part of talking about the budget and the financial statement. So and now, okay, next we will hear from the treasurer. So the treasurer's report after okay, nope, I'm sorry. Rita, please take it. I'm gonna hold the mic up to the computer, so Zoom room, please let me know if you have trouble hearing. Live room as well.
Okay, so this is a consolidated report as of March 31st for the position that our league is in at the and as of that date. So for the fiscal year that we are currently in, we had income of a little over $30,600. We had expenses of only about $8,500. So we have a net income so far for this year of about 22,000. The balance sheet, which includes our savings accounts, if you want to look at it that way, is that we have cash of 72,800. Our investment portfolio has 31,000 in it. We owe to LWV US and LWVMO currently for per member payments, 13,600. And so our equity or savings account is almost $90,000. So that's our financial position as of March 31st, 2024. Okay, next, Anne. Okay, so yeah, if you want to click on that, this is the draft budget. And I don't know if somebody can click on that and bring it up.
Yeah, it's up.
It is in the room, but I know what you're saying.
It's not up on the
No,
Zoom.
Okay,
I'm
we've
not
got the
sure
link
if I
to it on in the chat. So if the people in the Zoom room want to go to that directly, that would be best.
Okay, so this is a
Copy.
fairly large increase for us for this year. So last year, we voted in a budget of about a little over $19,000. We will spend by the end of the year, we will spend about between 12 and 13,000. This budget is a little over $32,000. So it's a much larger budget because we're going into a year that we feel is going to be a very contentious year. And there's a lot to do, a lot of printing that's gonna have to be done. There's advertising that the committee chairs want. So there's Vote 411 is gonna be distributed widely. So there's gonna be a lot of extra expenses for this, as you can see. So that's the budget.
I can't see it.
And then-
You
that I-
can't.
that address. Yeah.
So,
Rita, could I ask you, in the Zoom room, someone asked, are there no changes? Is this the version sent in the call?
no, this is not changed from the version that's in the call. No. It's the same one that showed up in the call. Okay,
Yes, it's the same version.
so Anne? Or
Yes.
if you can change it to the next slide,
Absolutely,
thank you.
maybe. My computer doesn't want to cooperate. Oh, there we go.
Okay. So Anne mentioned this a little bit on the changes at LWVUS. You saw that in the bylaws, that we needed to change the due structure. In March, and I put a link, and I think it's also in the chat. Janelle was good enough to put that in the chat. Our March membership meeting went through the financial changes and the implications for our league. So there's a whole presentation that you can view on what that means. But essentially, the big piece that you're going to see over and over and over and over again until you're sick of seeing it from me for the next couple of months is that if anybody wants to donate when they join the league or renew in the league, so a lot of people will add maybe $5, $10, or $30 to their membership fee of $70. If they want to do that continuously, we will only receive 20% of that. We have been receiving 100% of the donation, but in the future, we will only receive 20% of that donation. We will only receive 20% of the amount as well, but that's the change that I talk about at that membership meeting. So if you weren't able to get to the March meeting and you would like, there's a lot of information in that presentation that I gave then about how this is going to roll out and the implications that it means for our league. We will receive much less money in the next fiscal year. So, well, actually halfway through, because it's going to start January 1st, 2025. So when you hit a renew or join button on our website, it will take you to LWVUS. There is no way you can join a local league directly anymore as of January 1st. So it will go to LWVUS, you will join. Their membership fees are actually, there are suggested amounts and there is a minimum of $20. So you will be able to join for $20 or there's a suggested amount, I think, of $75. That's going to be their deal. We will receive 20% of that, whatever you join, whatever amount you choose to join at, either 20, 75, or anything in between. If you want us to receive a donation, you then have to go to our website and hit the donation button and make a donation directly to us if you want us to receive 100% of it. Very odd, very different, but I will explain it over and over again between now and January 1st, because we did really well in our fundraising this year, and I don't want to see that diminished because of the changes at LWVUS. So we have a lot of expenses coming up in the next year, and we just need to be able to pay for them without having to pull back on our efforts due to lack of funding. Okay.
We have a lot of questions in the live room and probably some on the Zoom room as well. So
Okay.
I want to put the motion on the table because that's how we're supposed to do it. So we'll put the motion on the table, we'll discuss, we'll ask questions, and then we'll vote if there are no amendments. So, I don't know who's got the motion. Okay, Laura?
So I move that we accept the 2025 budget as presented out by everyone. Oh,
Okay, Laura Marcus Mountjoy moves that we accept the 2025 fiscal year 2025 budget as recommended by the board.
Second.
Okay, Cheryl Barnes seconds, and now we have just time for discussion. I'm gonna just repeat, just for emphasis, that going forward, you can only join at the national website, and so if you donate above and beyond your membership, it goes 80% of it goes somewhere else. So we almost all donate extra, and we in fact tried to foster that because we had our different categories, and lots of you joined in a bigger category and gave. Yeah, we don't get to do that anymore, so we have to make them two separate transactions. One that pays for your membership and one that donates. Okay, any questions in chat or on the floor? Okay, we have one in the live room.
What if you just write in check, two checks? But you can be old school and not on fine, right?
Yes, no, I will answer for Rita, and then if it's sufficient, then she'll give me a thumbs up, and if not, I'll hand the mic back to, but my arm is getting a little tired. So yes, you can still, the National League says, yes, we will still accommodate checks, but they haven't told us exactly how that will work. But it would be two checks. Anitra is absolutely right, it would be two checks. Thumbs up on that? Is that the right answer? Rita? Yeah, okay. All right, any other questions? Thank you.
And I assume then, so when a person joins the National League, and then part of that amount goes to our state league, and part comes to us.
Yes, actually, they've sort of flip-flopped. It used to be that National got a bigger chunk and the state and the local league got a roughly even chunk, but they flipped it. So a smaller chunk will go to National and a bigger chunk will go to the state league. And the thinking that they have expressed is that we will need more support as we go forward, and there's more activity in state legislatures and more things happen at the state level.
Probably true.
They have more clarification.
Hi, this is showing your finger, and it's my understanding these changes don't go into effect until January of 2025. That's what Rita said. So I thought that all be clear.
Okay. Yes, the changes go into effect in January of 2025. Any other questions?
So I just have in the chat, Terry, thanks Rita for all your efforts and research on the impact and to explain how to renew and donate. And Peg asked, can you go back to the budget before the vote we are going to approve?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I'm gonna talk just a second about fundraising. I'm gonna talk about it again later, but this budget has a big old chunk of money in fundraising. And the reason it has a big old chunk, and way more than we've ever raised before. And the reason it has that big old chunk of fundraising is that the committees have requested way more money than they ever asked for before. So budgets for organizations like ours have to balance. It has to be, both sides have to be the same number. So that means we have to increase our fundraising. So if we don't achieve that level of fundraising but we do achieve that level of spending, then we get to take it out of savings. And the other thing I want to say about this is that we anticipate that we will have to engage in a defense of the citizen initiative petition this year. There is a bill that has made it out of the House, the State House, and it's gone to the Senate, and it looks like it's the one that's going to fly. I'll talk about it more later, but that will be a separate vote, and it will go to the board. So we have not included that defense in this budget. This is all just November, August, April Well, not April, April will be over. April is over. Next April, though. This just includes this election season, exclusive of the CIP defense.
Would you mind sharing this? I don't need to say
Oh.
it online, but
Um,
stop sharing your slideshow and share those. So I think that's what's being asked in the chat
Oh, I gotcha.
before we vote.
Hope so.
The black screen. at the bottom.
Oh, thank you. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's 2 pages, so I'm sorry for the Zoom room, I can't. It's really better if you could follow the link in the chat. I'm sorry if you can't, because there are a few more lines at the bottom that I can't show all at once. Okay, any other questions or discussion? I also want to tell you that the board took a very serious look at this budget this year, and we made some changes. We scrutinized it in ways that we haven't really had to in the past, because we've been under budget, I think, with requests in the past, but we really took a look at it. So it's bigger than, it's bigger, but it's smaller than it was when it came to us. So,
Yep. that's
okay.
what you-
All right, any,
I'm not gonna go there.
there being, Rita, I'm gonna tell you, you're not muted. All right, there being no more discussion or questions, the motion.
Okay, wait
Oh,
a second. Peg has her hand raised.
Oh, okay. Okay, Peg, you can go ahead and talk.
Okay, I just want to confirm that in the budget, for the income, there is no offsetting line item expenses from the savings account or the checking account. You're covering that all from either fundraising or donations. Is that a correct statement?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I like to see that. That makes us a little bit more accountable to what we want to do. So I thought I saw that the other day when I looked at it. So thank you for that confirmation.
You're welcome, and that was Peg Prendergast.
Yes,
I hope I said your last name right.
you did.
On the wrong place. Okay, any other questions or comments, discussion? Okay, thank you. There being none, we will vote on the motion that is on the table, that we accept this budget as recommended by the board and as presented here. So those in favor, please raise your hand. We're almost done. Okay, thank you for voting those in favor. We'll give everybody in the Zoom room just a moment to lower their hands. Good. All right, those opposed, please raise your hands. Okay, that motion passes. Okay, this one's more fun. We move into fun stuff now. Our next order of business is to vote in some officers and directors for the board of directors. So we will have the nominating chair get up and speak, and you get to go get a glass of water.
Yay. Do you want me to read the whole report? Is that the
No,
best way
we
to
can
do
summarize
it?
it. No, we sent it out.
Okay.
Could we clear the screen though?
And can we put up should we put up the nominating report?
Yep,
You could certainly put up a slate. The slate and.
thank you. Yes, I have a slide for that. There's a slide for that. That didn't work. Okay, why are you not going? Oh, I got it. No, I got it. There we go.
All right. So, hi, I'm Janelle Shuey, and I was the nominating chair for this
fiscal year this year. And the committee who served with me are Alice Kitchen, Elizabeth Dar, who's here this morning. Alice is joining online, and Judy Ann Goldman, and she's also here this morning. So we worked hard at trying to bring in voices and experience. And so we are putting this slate forward. So the nominations for vice president, treasurer, and board directors are vice president for operations and communications, Judy Ann Goldman, who's an incumbent on the board. Treasurer Rita Golden, and Goulden. Sorry, Rita, I never call you by your last name. And she has agreed to serve another term, and the board of directors, board of directors, Janice Comer. Yeah, and she is not here this morning, but she does have a bio attached to the call. I encourage you to read it. She has just a wonderful resume. And Greg Woodhams, he's an incumbent. We're gonna stick her out. Elizabeth Dar, she is a new addition. And then Laura Marcus Mountjoy, and she is gonna stick around for us too. Yeah. You know, and as always in this process, if you know someone who would be interested, or you feel like you have the capacity and aptitude to serve on the board, we always welcome new folks and new voice. I mean, like, that is a welcome process to submit yourself or someone else that you know has talent. So this is the slate for the 2024-2025 nomination. Do I have a motion?
Well, may I say it's premature for the moment.
Okay.
The president is to call for other nominations
Oh,
and then
sorry.
the vote.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, I earned my fee.
Yeah.
You've earned your fee a couple times over, Evelyn. Okay, so, yes, I will now call for any nominations from the floor. If you do want to nominate someone from the floor, you have to ask their consent first.
That's a nicety,
That's
that's not a necessity.
No, it's actually in the,
It
no,
is?
it is a
Okay.
necessity. It is actually in Robert's rules that you have to have consent before you nominate someone from the floor, so. All right, there being no individual nominations from the floor, is there a motion on the floor? Yeah.
Jim Calvert, I would like to move that the nominations for vice president, treasurer, board of directors be passed as submitted by the nominating committee.
Okay, so Jim Calvert moved that the slate of officers and directors be approved as presented by the nominating committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Barb Calvert seconds that motion. All right, and so now we have some discussion. I'm gonna tell you that in the chat room, the first bit of discussion was to thank the nominating committee for their hard work, and I want to second that for sure. There's no easy job to go and recruit people for service.
It is an easy job, and the nominating committee needs members for next year. It's a wonderful job.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, and all your friends and neighbors are doing it, and so you should jump in. I've been reading a book about nudging people, so everyone's doing it. Let's all get together and nominate. Actually, it's kind of true that the nominating committee takes recommendations from all of the members, and so it is kind of a group effort, although myself excluded, and other members of the board, because we don't want to have undue influence, but everybody else is welcome to suggest people. So yeah, actually, one of the tasks for nominating committee is to,
With that is, even if we had nominees for nominating committee, that's separate.
Okay.
So
Yes,
we'll vote
No,
on
I'm gonna
these.
give you a heads up though, to be thinking about it, and we're gonna be asking for volunteers here today to be on the nominating committee for next year. All right, so any further questions or discussions about the slate of nominees?
So maybe vote.
All right, there being none, let's vote on the motion to elect the officers and the directors as proposed by the committee. Those in favor? All right, give the Zoom room a moment to lower their hands. Go ahead and lower your hands in the Zoom room, please.
Okay, I have
There's a
that, but I
magic
just.
button that lowers all
I
hands.
just- I don't want to preempt anybody.
Oh, well, I think once I say lower your hands.
Okay.
All right, any, those opposed, please raise your hand. All right, that motion carries. Thank you. So the last thing we need to do is find 3 people for the nominating committee. Would anyone like to step up and volunteer? We're supposed to have that squared away by the end of the meeting today. I'm not saying I'm gonna hold you here for the whole, until we get someone. I'm not saying I'm not. Elizabeth Dar? Would you chair that? I would be happy to chair that committee. Elizabeth Dar has agreed to chair that committee. Thank you, Elizabeth.
And can I just ask one real question?
Absolutely.
My understanding that your position will be available the next year.
Yes, her question was, is the position of president available in 2025? Yes, it is.
You look so happy.
And secretary as well, secretary as well.
As the newly appointed, I guess, appointed head of the nominating committee, I would like to ask all members.
I'm gonna bring you the microphone. Hey, I can say that again.
Okay, more than I want to recap, I'll make my announcement. Hi, everybody. As the newly appointed head of the nominating committee, I want to draw to all members' attention that major positions will be open next year, including president and secretary. So please search your inner league, whatever, and consider those positions, because we need good leadership. We've had good leadership, but we have exhausted them. So please be seriously be thinking about those positions.
I will say, I am happy to mentor anyone who wants to take on the task of president. So you will not be, hold on.
Okay. I'm consulting the bylaws. First of all, we do need to elect Elizabeth, which I think is given. But the nominating committee shall consist of at least 3 members who will be 1 chairman and 2 members that are elected at the annual meeting. And they will serve until the next annual meeting. Following that date, the board may appoint more nominating committee members not already serving on the board. So today, it'd be great if we could elect Elizabeth as the chair and 2 members. If we don't, those other members will be appointed eventually.
Okay, so we're looking for 2 more volunteers. Just hoping that Buzz was somebody volunteering on my phone. It's not.
And I just want to add that the nominating committee generally runs from the end of November, maybe December, until, you know, maybe February or March. So it is a really limited engagement.
And you can only do it 1 year. Chair, at least. You can only be chair 1 year. You're not allowed to do it 2 years in a row, so you will not be asked to do it again, at least for a year. Any volunteers?
May I nominate?
Well, you can go, you can ask for someone's consent.
I nominate Jean Ann Kuhn. She is experienced, however, I do realize she has to consent.
She has declined her
Oh,
consent.
okay.
Okay, so, I am not truly going to hold up this meeting to, to try to find nominating committee members, but Elizabeth, I will help you. And so we will, Anitra?
I just got a text that Rita Guden
Yeah,
had volunteered online.
Oh, excellent. Rita volunteered online. and We didn't see that somehow.
Yeah,
She raised her hand.
Oh,
no, she's at the bottom of the chat.
Oh, we're sorry. It didn't come through. It didn't come through, but thank you, Rita. So we have 2 members. We only need 1 more. Yes, we have 1 more. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to read your name tag. Thank you, thank you. Joyce. Yes, okay, Joyce Villa. How do I pronounce your last name?
Joyce, how do you want it?
Villa.
pronounced? Bill name.
Bill name, thank you. So, all right, now we need to elect our new slate of Elizabeth Dar as chair, Rita Goulden and Joyce Villeneuve as members of the nominating committee. So someone needs to make a motion. It's not me. Anitra,
Anitra Steele, I move that we elect by acclamation Elizabeth Dar, Rita, and Joyce to the nominating committee.
okay,
Just a second, I believe Alice Kitchen may have thrown her hat in the ring as well.
Alice, are you?
Is that, Alice is?
Voting. I was premature voting for the
Oh,
Oh, sure.
yeah, when you said that, her hand went right down. Okay, so, the motion on the table, we elect, Elizabeth Dar as chair and, Joyce Villeneuve and Rita Goulden as members of the nominating committee. Is there a second for that motion?
I second.
Janelle seconds it, and those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. We'll lower hands with the magic. Everybody in the chat, their hands have been lowered, and those opposed? Raise your hand, please. Okay, that motion passes. That was very hard for me because I should not be swaying the vote in any way, shape, or form, but boy, I wanted to. Hey, if anybody opposes this, you're in trouble. Okay. We have 2 things left. One is directions to the board. The second one is I have just a few announcements and some few words to say. So, directions to the board. This is, all members have an opportunity to tell us what you would like to see us do this year, as a board. So the floor is open and, Cindy will be taking notes and of course we're recording it too. So directions to the board, please.
Anitra Steele and Chair of the Forums Committee, and these are directions to both the Board of Directors and the membership. When we do the forums, it's very important for everyone to, number one, sign in and watch or listen, and to send us good questions.
What is he saying?
Sign in, watch. Have a say in who guides this country or our city or our schools. And we need you all to participate and have that say, because we don't want, we're fighting to have that say. And you need to participate in the forums. Also, it gives us good numbers to show people that, yes, did you know on our 6 school board elections last month, we had over 1,000 people watch our views on YouTube. Wow.
So I have a good friend online who has given me directions to be nice, for the board to be nice to Ann.
Anyone else?
Keep up the good work.
More directions to the board? Nobody online other than that one? Thank you, Rachel. I assume.
I would like to, ask the board to be attentive to inviting members and informing members of the state conferences and the national convention. So that the board, the members of the body know they are welcome to attend, paying the fees, of course. And they can attend as either a member or as a delegate, and that's up to the board, up to electing the delegates. Thank you.
Anything else? There's gotta be a few more things you want us to do. I like that vote of confidence, so thank you. All right, well, fantastic. I have just a couple of, I actually wrote a speech, you know me, I wrote a speech. So, I'm gonna read my remarks, short, like straight, big letters. Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for all your hard work and for being members or guests of LWBKC. I also want a special thank you to Anitra, who is remaining on the board, but has stepped down from her role as vice president, which she's held for several years. And thank you so much for your service. And I also want to thank Cheryl Ufinger, who is leaving the board after many years of service as well. And she's a member of the state board, and she's involved in the library board, and there's a thing up north that I keep thinking I need to figure out what that is. It's probably I should know, but I don't. And so she's doing all kinds of work. She's not leaving league or service, but she is leaving our board. So thank you very much for your service. Okay, I want to say that it is my honor, it has been my honor to serve as president of such an active, dedicated organization. A year ago, at this time, we planned for the 2024 election season. We spent time in small meetings, throwing out ideas for new initiatives, guessing what the legislature would pass, which is a real guessing game, and debating strategy. Well, now election season 2024 is here, and we are more ready than we have ever been, thanks to all of you. We have more than 90 volunteers trained and ready to go. We have voter registration drives, get out the vote events, and informational presentations scheduled all over town. We have hosted candidate forums and a sunshine presentation. Our Observer Corps is keeping an eye on our government in action. We're tracking the bills coming out of Jefferson City and preparing to defend the much valued citizen initiative petition. We're even learning how to use a cool new tool, League in Action. Please put League in Action on your phone today. If you haven't done that, you could talk to all sorts of people. Jim can help you put League in Action on your phone. I bet Judy can. Janelle probably could. I can. So we want everybody to get League in Action on your phone. We're gonna start really pushing those calls to action out via League in Action. I just want to take just a second to talk about the defense of the citizen initiative petition.
And.
Yep.
And this is so important. Can you sit down and be on the camera, and can we take the behind you off?
Oh, of course. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, let us stop sharing. I am, I really dislike having to watch the the screen when I'm, thank you for pointing that out. Little tiny bit less looking up my nose. Okay, so, anyway, I want to talk about the citizen initiative petition just a minute. The bill that we think is most likely to pass calls for a concurrent majority. That means that, you know, a majority, of course, is 50% of the vote plus one vote. Concurrent majority means that it has to be a majority not only across the state as a whole, but in different districts. And so the bill that's coming through requires a concurrent majority in, Greg, help me, in state house districts along with congressional districts. So both of those things. Oh, just congressional districts. Okay. So what that does is that gives people in one area maybe a little bit more weight to their vote than the people in another area. And we don't think that's fair. And we also think it's calculated because there is a reproductive rights petition that is circulating, and We anticipate that will be on the ballot in November, and that this bill that restricts the citizen initiative petition will be on the ballot in August. So that's going to be all hands on deck. And that's one of the reasons that I want everybody to put League in Action on your phone, because League in Action is a way that we can reach out to non-members. We can reach out to the young people in our lives. We can remind them to vote. We can tell them what's going on. We can send them information. We can ask them to take action. And they can then share that with their friends. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for those of us who are over 40, but we'll do some training so that we can teach you how to use it. There will not be a learning curve for those under 40. They just say, oh yeah, okay, and they're done. And after they hand me my phone back and having made it work. So, so I just want to give everybody the heads up that that's going to be really vital. It is the citizen initiative petition is we are only one of 26 states that offer that kind of direct democracy, and we don't want to see it chipped away at. So that will be a statewide effort. We're coordinating with our state league, with other partners. So anyway, that's my little aside. Be ready for that, please. And information about that will be going out via the e-voter, of course. Read the e-voter every single 2 weeks or 3 weeks if there's a long week. Please read the e-voter. That's where all of our information is. It really makes a difference. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my script now. But still, so we've gone all this way, but still I wonder what will happen after November. What is the future going to look like for our democracy and our organization? Do we finally get to rest after November? Sorry, I have stage directions to shrug, but I can't. I just have to laugh because. All right, no, I don't think we get to rest. No, there are individuals who would like to disrupt democracy in America. I think we may always have to be as vigilant as we've been in the last few years. This may be our new normal for the rest of my life, at least. What does that mean for our organization? We have grown, and we need to start thinking about what that growth means. We are a remarkable organization in that almost everything we do as volunteers. There is so much commitment and so much passion in this organization. But what if we had some help? Most of the organizations which do the kind of work that we do in this city have paid staff to support that work. What could we accomplish if we had both the volunteers we have, which is kind of unique to us? We have more volunteers than anybody, I think, except maybe the Kaufman Center, but you know, they have fancy shows and stuff, so that doesn't really count. What if we had those volunteers plus paid staff to support them? We have made some real strides in fundraising this past year. We had our first big fundraising event since before COVID, Peace, Love, Vote, and we submitted our first big grant application. Let's finish our work this election season, because you know we all have to do that. Nothing is more important than empowering voters and defending democracy. But I would like to plant a little fundraising seed in there for the future of our organization. Next spring, we can have a seedling, and perhaps in time, we can join our fellow civil rights trees in the forest of democracy. Okay. I was going to oversell that even more, but then I don't know. Okay. In all seriousness, we really need to start thinking about fundraising and see if we can raise enough money to have some staff by the time I'm headed out, so that the next person has some support. So keep that in mind, please. And if there is no more discussion,
I'll make this short.
Okay.
This is Shirley Ufinger again, and I'm just shouting out the June 8th State Conference in St. Louis in person. There was an email that came out a few days ago that said there's an early bird special for in-person attendees. And there's a good rate of $10 for those who want to do it by Zoom. And there's going to be a lot of interesting topics covered.
Okay. Thank you. And actually, that was a good reminder because the national conference, the US convention is in late June. We have the delegates already, from the board, the delegates, people have stepped up to be delegates, but anyone can attend and it's really interesting. It's on Zoom. It's a little less expensive on Zoom. So I encourage you to look at the eVoter for information about that. And then I also want to mention just a couple more things. The petition that I referenced earlier, let me come back to get in camera. The petition that I referenced earlier on reproductive health is still out there for one more day. So if you want to jump in and help with that, you can look up Karine Page on our roster.
It's good to see me right now.
Or you can see Evelyn right now. So if you want to jump in and help, or if for some reason you haven't, okay, I'm not allowed to say that because it didn't go before the board, but I'm guessing Evelyn will be outside
Yeah.
afterwards.
If you're in this room and you live in Blue Springs, Raymore, which would be Congressional District 4, please see me after the meeting.
Yep. And then we also have 3 committee chair positions, which are now open. And so we need to do some recruiting for those committees. The membership meetings committee, the committee that puts together these membership meetings, we are required in the bylaws to have 4, but we have generally had 10 or 11 each year of the monthly Saturday morning meetings. So we need a chair for that committee. It's kind of fun. You get to reach out to lots of people and pull in speakers, and anyway, it's kind of fun. We also need Vote 411 in our voter guide. Our formidable leaders, our wonderful leaders, that formidable is the wrong word, but our fantastic leaders, Peg and Pat, are hanging up their hats, pencils. They're hanging up their pencils at the end of the election season in November. And so we need some people who are maybe tech savvy or can learn. It's not super hard, but to step up. That job takes, I think we've figured out about an average of 10 hours a month, sometimes much busier, sometimes less busier. It's one of those seasonal jobs. The membership meeting chair, that one is a little bit more steady. It's about 5 hours a month, if that. There's a third committee. Observer Corps, thank you. We also need a new leader for the Observer Corps committee, and Donna has said that's about 10 hours a month to lead that committee, and that that's Donna Hoke, she will happily mentor her replacement and give them any help that they need. I think that's about it for my
Fair to
announcement.
point out, if you're trying to recruit leaders, these committees are all functioning committees that run very well.
That's a
So,
good point. Yeah, let me restate what Jim said. All 3 of those committees that we talked about are functioning committees. They're already run well. They've got paperwork, they've got instructions, and so you can step in and you don't have to recreate the wheel. Thank you. That's important.
Yeah, one easy thing, and that is please take off your name tag and put it here before you leave instead of on your kitchen counter when you get home. And also, if you have not had a chance to read the graphic novel that Greg Woodens led this effort so much, you'll learn more about this Citizens Initiative petition. And this is probably going to be our biggest tool in our arsenal of how to inform people how important the initiative petition is. You can also scan, and this is what we do here, so you can take it home and read it on your phone. But this was about a year-long work, and this is what we're using at the city market when we do get out the vote, and at almost every voter registration of how we are informing Missourians of this superpower.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Not yet. Meg said she would strongly encourage LWBKC board to discuss with LWBMO what they're going to do with the extra dollars. It would be great to have 2 executive directors, one on the east and one on the west side of the state. And Peg, I would strongly concur with you, and I would also recommend that we all write to our state president directly and make that suggestion, and maybe even make that suggestion to a representative or two from the state board who happen to be here in the room.
Can you say who our representatives on the state board are here? today?
That's a good idea. I will say who those representatives are. Greg Woodhams and Cheryl Ufinger are both on the Missouri State Board. So,
And Evelyn has been.
and Evelyn has been, yes. Okay, so, I think that's it, unless there's any other discussion, anything else, anybody? You guys held on, that was good, that was good.
And now,
I make a motion to adjourn the,
I think somebody has a little.
okay.
I don't
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, we already have that covered.
Sorry.
Okay, what? For the Zoom room, I asked people ahead of time to make the motions, and we had a little bit of a slight traffic jam on the motions, so.
But I will move to not make the motion if you feel strongly about it.
Oh, no.
Okay, is there a motion on the floor? There being no other business at this meeting, is there a motion on the floor?
I move to adjourn the 2024 annual meeting.
Thank you, Judy. Ann Goldman moves to adjourn the 2024 annual meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
And that Elizabeth Darr seconded it?
Yeah.
All right, those in favor?
Do we do discussion?
Oh, sorry,
I
was
don't
there
think
just
so.
nine? We'll just skip that. Yeah, we're gonna unadjourn. All right, I declare this meeting adjourned.
Stop the recording now.
Good. Thank you, everyone, for joining online, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for all the work you do.